All right, wonderful. So my name is Kirsten Ward, and we will take questions for Dr. Rosano after this quick, very brief presentation. So it's just going to be about 10 minutes. For those of you that are interested in becoming a certified diabetes educator and unsure how to do so, first of all, there's quite a few of us here in the room that are certified diabetes educators. Maybe those people will stand up really quickly so that you know who you can talk to if you're interested. So if you're interested, you can not only speak to me, but my fellow colleagues. I currently do some volunteer work with NCBDE, which is the organizing, the company that houses the exam. And so if you know registered dietitians, it's not a membership committee. It's registered dietitians have to take their licensing exam after they finish. This is the company that proctors, sort of runs the exam and structures all the questions. And so there's a board and there's several committees. And Kathy Maloli is also on one of the committees as well. So as the outreach committee chairperson, what we're doing is we're doing these quick, short presentations throughout the community, throughout the different universities, to talk about the benefits of becoming a CDE for other healthcare professionals, not only exercise professionals, but nurses, dietitians, etc., as well as going to physicians and other healthcare liaison so that they understand the benefit of referring to certified diabetes educators. So if you are in your location, your work location, want to have this quick presentation to educate fellow colleagues, please let me know. The first thing I'd like to mention is this is obviously an overview. It's a quick overview. I do have brochures if people are interested in some more information about how to become certified, and so you can see myself or anybody. I know for myself that I would not have had the opportunities for my different work opportunities if I wasn't a certified diabetes educator. And that, as well as, I would say, the respect from other healthcare liaison professionals. I think all of us know the obesity and diabetes epidemic, and that's really, I would say, people talk about swine flu or the opioid epidemic. I think we know that this really is the epidemic that we have in our country and also in the world to face. I have had the opportunity to travel to India, to go to Colombia, Bogota, to travel places that I never thought I'd be able to travel, and also career opportunities where I wasn't always in a hospital doing stress testing, which we were joking around earlier, which I would have been a little bit monotonous for me. So I think that it opens up another world for you as a certified diabetes educator and healthcare liaison. Right now in the United States, we have about 50 exercise professionals that are certified diabetes educators. 40 of them are probably like an RCEP or CEP. As many of you know, the RCEP is now being switched to the CEP. But you can see right here, we are in the other category of 3%. We are much needed. And so this is going to provide a lot of opportunities for us in our occupations. And also I would say the thing that I'm doing now as far as my work, people say, what am I doing? I am starting my own business and doing a lot of consulting. So again, a lot of growth opportunities. This certification is not an entry-level certification. It's more of a mastery, just like the RCEP or CEP is, where you have to have practice hours and time in the field before you can sit the exam. As an example, the registered dietitian licensing exam is an entry-level exam. They go to their master's, get their master's degree, and then they have to take this exam. This is different. You actually have to show that you have expertise in the field. This is why having a mentor is very helpful to be able to guide you and also, answer your questions as you go along. So really quick and simple, most of us in the exercise professional area, to become a CDE, you would need to have a master's degree first, and then after you have your master's degree and you're starting to work in the field, whether it's in cardiac rehab, stress testing, then you've got to get your RCEP or your CEP, the next level of certification that you would for your exercise profession. And then after that, you can start accruing your hours as a certified diabetes educator, where you can actually be in practice and practicing and start counting your hours. So you have to have, I'm an RCEP, you have to have, say, as soon as I had my RCEP, I could start counting my hours as my hours towards my CDE exam. There is an alternate route that you can get certified, and that's the alternate pathway, which is different, but I won't go into that now. For instance, we have psychologists that are certified diabetes educators, and we also have people that don't have a master's degree that are certified diabetes educators. It's just a different credentialing process. That can change, just like the RCEP is changing in our field, so it's always good to go to the website. Generally, you have to have the last 2 years of your working or volunteer experience are usually the most hours that have to accrue, and it has to be 1,000 hours. You have to accrue those 1,000 hours within 4 years. And we do have a mentoring program as well, so that you can count some of your hours with your mentor in mentorship hours. You apply online, and there is an initial fee of $350. You have to receive approval before you can sit your exam, and again, it's computer-based. So as soon as you put in the application, and you have to choose your date within the 90 days of approval. And you can find all the details on the NCBDE website, or I do have some brochures if people are interested and want some brochures, and then NCBDE can mail or send you the link. We can always send you the link to the website, which has all the information of the different pathways and ways to get credentialed and more details. And then after you've passed, then the next thing is like, what then? Well, then you want to continue to get your continuing education credits, just like what we do right now for our own profession. And you recertify every 5 years. The good thing is that it used to be that we used to have to take the exam over again every 5 years and restudy again. Now you have to have practice hours and CEU hours, and that will qualify for your recertification that is valid again every 5 years. So if you have further questions, you're interested, again, I have some brochures, or you can just call NCBDE. I'll leave this slide up, or you can just go to the website. And that's, again, the short and sweet of it. We'll now take questions for Dr. Rosanna.
Questions from Dr. Rosanna?
Well, you as a physician are one of the most knowledgeable providers on exercise, so it was an excellent presentation.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would just say, people that, are there any lifestyle coaches? Do you think lifestyle coaches here? If there aren't any, I would just say the state of Massachusetts has a very strong support program. Max Alderman from the State House, you're very well versed in DPP. That he's a great resource and for training. The state is really supporting DPP. That's the future.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And UMass served, I guess, a couple of times as a facility that we hosted classes. Yeah, it's actually two days of classes. We certify 4 of our providers at diabetes and Diabetes Center of Excellence in
So
US.
do you have a public program now? I know you said you had an employee-based program. Does your department run a...
We considering it, but I think it might not go through simply because diabetes prevention program is have tight connection with YMCA, the Central YMCA in Worcester. going to provide not only the program but the facility. And if we open public, it may potentially end up to be unreasonable amount of participants that we cannot fit on a facility, number one. Number two, I think the program is supposed to go to senior centers, in my perspective, because you can prevent 70% of risk of diabetes in this population, and we don't have those resources as of now. So I think if diabetes prevention coaches will simply engage in the senior centers as of for the sessions, it will be fabulous, because senior sessions usually have exercise routine places, and they can, like, again, have immediate communication, like motivation, communication, all kind of will collide together in one spot. So the last piece is just the Medicare reimbursement is becoming so kind of like complex at this moment. We probably couldn't going to wait based upon what I know about reimbursement. If you have more detailed question, I can answer. It just like takes me another 30 minutes to get you through reimbursement process because it's very complex. So I will probably, if you have a specific question, I can answer. But right now, it really looks quite complex in terms of how money distributed.
Now, do you treat patients with prediabetes with oral agents? Or?
Well, again, I ran metabolic weight loss program along in Massachusetts. We have like a weight center that focuses on bariatric surgery, and I do it within endocrine department. So when people come, they already do have some sort of idea about intensive lifestyle modification. When they reach providers, already kind of capacitated their activities, even though we can find room to improve here and there. So yes, I do treat patients with, like again, medication for prediabetes and for weight loss, because there are a lot of things right now available in the market related to weight loss, and there are clinical trials very promising.
Do you, for the dietary aspect of the program, what is the setup for that? Are you guys more on the low calorie, low carb end towards creating more insulin sensitivity in the individuals, or are you sticking more towards the recommended guidelines for diets?
Excellent question. I actually was surprised that they didn't want to mention decrease of carbs as of like amount of carbohydrates. The program as a strict curriculum provides you information about caloric intake for the day based upon your activity, aging, and comorbidities. But they do not like to emphasize to decrease calories as of disbalanced calories to low carbs versus low fat. They just talk about total calories, yeah. So when I was involved in the program, because again, I participated each single session, we talk a lot about carbohydrate. I couldn't say that I'm really big fan of the ketogenic diet because it's not sustainable quite a bit. It does a lot of positive improvement in diabetes and prediabetes. In fact, I'm a part of this group as of online group, but I found it's not sustainable as of long term. And if you think about its lifestyle modification, not a diet, it's a very temporal solution. So it's nice to find a good balance, but I do promote decrease of carbohydrate when I see the patient with prediabetes, because it's quite logical. The more carbs you eat, the more insulin you will produce, the more anabolic effect of insulin you're gonna get. If you're not exercises right away as a Michael Phelps, right, you end up to be collecting it as a glycogen. Plus, insulin has the anti-diuretic effect, and if you eat more salt, it contains like more fluid retention. So it becomes a vicious cycle of, So I try a little bit to disbalance, not so much. If you think about, like typical traditional diabetic educators talk about 50 to 45 grams of carbs per meal, even with diabetes. I have diabetic, registered diabetic educators and nutritionists who can manage providing plans as a 30 to 40 grams, which is kind of sustainable. And if you even look, Google ADA snacks, they have a snack with 5 grams of carbs, 10 grams of carbs, and 15 grams of carbs, which is kind of reasonable to think that's about snack. I like omega-3 fatty acids ideas for snacks because it really improves cholesterol and kind of like improves liver function, because a lot of people with obesity struggle with fatty liver condition. So it helps a lot. So it's kind of become, I mean, it's all supposed to be in moderation. All right, but program itself, no, just caloric restriction, yeah.
Other questions? I don't see any online. I don't see any online.
That's good.
Thank you very much,
You're
Dr.
very
Rosanna.
welcome. Appreciate it. Yeah, thank you.